That's enough YouTube for tonight. I'm going to bed. Huh? Someone there? How you doing? Oh, what the heck is that thing? Hey, it's me, your one and only. Drum roll, please. AT the Gamer! All jokes aside, I've been thinking about superheroes recently. One in particular, Batman. He is by no means evil and a pretty good guy. Not to mention, he takes villains out without any powers. Like, geez man, way to put other superheroes to shame. But have you thought what would happen if he went rogue? What if our favourite hero dressed in black was evil? And no, I'm not talking about the Batman who laughs, I'm talking about this psycho. Spooky stuff, right? When I first delved into this analog horror, I was literally shivering in my boots. To be fair, it was nighttime and I was by myself, but this is still quite scary. Or, I don't know, maybe I'm just a scaredy cat. No offense, push. The series was made by a person known as Oblivion and starts off like this.
Attention, all staff at this time, just follow all lockdown procedures. There has been a disturbance in the roof of the building. The GCPD Gotham City Police Department and Arkham Security has been called to assess the situation. Follow all procedures for the following patients. Patient number 83357 alias Waylon Jones Killer Croc. Patient number 97567 alias Kirk Langstrom the Man-Bat. Patient number 72679 alias Dr. Pamela Lillian Isley, Poison Ivy. Patient 0, alias John Doe, the Joker. This alert will keep playing until the situation has been resolved.
What a way to start a series. The Batman is killing people instead of just knocking him out. What I find interesting about this is that the Batman isn't catching these people, they're already in prison, while shaping their bodies into bat symbols, mind you, without any police officers trying to intervene. This is also likely the Batman's first time as the Batman, because it's only been 20 years since Dwayne's death, so he couldn't have much crime fighting on his belt, which is why it's so strange he was able to do this so easily. Not to mention, why didn't he kill the Joker? All that's explained about the Joker is that he is now worse mentally than what he was before, so Batman must have done something so horrific to him that it even startles the craziest people around. Another thing to note is that the description reads,
No heroes, only creatures.
Keep this in the back of your mind. The next episode takes place 1 year later in 1960. The title shows that this is a log from Jim Gordon, which pretty much confirms Jim was the previous narrator. The description here reads, recovered live feed from Jim's office, as well as a ... Reen Montoya to Harvey Bullock. Which is interesting, but nothing too crazy. The rest of the episode talks about how people have begun to almost worship Batman by dressing up as him and fighting crime, but then it starts to talk about Bruce, and how before Bruce went missing, according to Cord Industries, he was acting strange. Right after releasing the info, the building was set aflame with everyone inside. It's clear to us it was Batman, but this shows he has some technology to his name, because you don't set whole building on flames and make sure no one escapes just like that. The episode then proceeds to talk about how people have come up with theories on Bruce's disappearance, and one of the theories is that Bruce is Batman. This then leads to the video glitching and showing some sort of broadcast where Batman states that vengeance is coming to Gotham, and we get our first close-up of what seems to be the Batman.
Citizens of Gotham, vengeance is coming.
His face looks interesting, to say the least. It almost reminds me of Scarecrow. His nose is very clearly missing, and he looks more so like a rotting corpse than anything else. I suppose this could be Jim Gordon's body, but after putting the brightness up and tweaking the image, nothing new was presented, but this shows that people are starting to put 2 and 2 together. The next episode is just a video on what to do to avoid the Batman and protect your loved ones. Specifically your children. It seems the Batman could be recruiting Robins, because why else would he be taking children? And again, later in the video, the footage glitches when Batman is directly mentioned. It seems like a bit of a pattern is starting to emerge. Another thing to note is that the video switched between 2 different voices. I think this is the Batman altering the video, because the second voice says things that are a bit creepy, to say the least.
Children, so that they don't get away.
And you lose them forever. You don't want that to happen, do you? Step 2.
Lock all your doors and windows, so they don't go out.
The next episode is narrated by someone completely different. You can see it from the font. They claim to have evidence that Bruce is Batman. According to the narrator, Batman is skinnier, yet he's still as strong and agile as what he was before, and must be taking some sort of drug. The sightings have increased, and Arkham is empty. The proof he has is the audio recording of Bruce confessing to being Batman. It's a little hard to understand what he's saying, but here's the clip with subtitles of what I think is being said.
My name is Bruce Wayne. My father is Thomas Wayne. My mother is Martha Wayne. They were both murdered when I was a child. I am here to confess. If listening, my plan has worked. People of Gotham will submit. As I am Gotham's jury, judge, and executioner.
The last part seemed a bit off to me, almost as if it was reversed. So I reversed it, and it sounds like, well, this. Of course, we already knew Bruce was Batman, but now we know that everyone else knows that Bruce is Batman. Also, by the looks of it, Batman has been affecting each and every single one of these videos. It's still a bit early to come up with a theory on what happened to Batman, but if I had to take a guess so far, it would be that he took some sort of drug. Heck, maybe even some other strand of Titan and is going nuts from it. Even the video suggests that the Bruce side of him is dead and now only Batman exists. Another thing that I believe could be happening, and admittedly it is a bit of a stretch, but I think it's possible that he made some sort of deal with the supernatural, which would explain why he seemingly can vanish to thin air, why he still has superhuman strength, how he interferes with the recording, and why he had gone crazy. However, take this with a grain of salt because there isn't any concrete evidence so far. The next episode takes place from Tim Drake's point of view, where he comes across the remains of Wayne Manor after it burnt down. He starts to investigate and uncovers the Batcave by accident. He finds bat suits among other things. However, the two most important things he found is a list of names, and by the looks of it, most of the people listed locked and hidden away. They didn't react when seeing Tim. He leaves the Batcave in a hurry and sees Batman. Tim states that the GCPD thought Batman was dead. I assume this is because Batman burnt his house down, but before we can think about this too long, Tim tries to leave the city, and let's just say it didn't end well. Obviously, the Batman is trying to keep his well-being hidden. It's hard to say what happened to the missing people, but it's obvious they're brainwashed. If the Batman is using some sort of drug, he may be experimenting on these people to find the best results for himself. He clearly has been doing this for a while because of the instructional video we saw before. However, in the next episode, our ideas are confirmed. It takes place in Jason Todd's POV, and we learn that the Batman has been experimenting on these people with a drug called Venom. This confirms Bruce was using some sort of substance to give himself strength and agility. We also learned that after Bruce's parents died, Alfred also died soon. Batman has been using fear toxin, which does explain him vanishing, I guess, but I don't want to throw out the supernatural theory just yet, because we still haven't been told how he's glitching the videos, just his name being mentioned. The following episode talks about the Joker, and we find out the Joker killed the Batman's parents. It explains why he did whatever he did to Joker in the first place. In the final episode, Azrael talks to us about how he has seen the missing, and that Batman has gotten Robins. He kills Dick, which you would think would send the Bat into some sort of rage, but I guess not. He then talks about how the Batman's latest kill... Huh? Really? Oh my gosh, I called it. The Batman is working with the supernatural in some way. He's doing some sort of like Norse ritual with his like latest kills. Oh my gosh, that's... I called it. I literally called it. Anyways, other than that, he starts talking about how he's going to kill the Bat in the name of God, and that Mammon will fall with the rest of the sinners. It's interesting that he brings up Mammon. If we take this as literally as we can, this suggests that Batman is Mammon, which, in case you didn't know, Mammon is depicted as a fallen angel or demon. His values usually align with Satan himself, and he usually represents greed, which is similar to someone we may know. But if this is true, and Batman is actually Mammon, or at least being possessed or influenced by him, this makes a whole lot of sense to how Batman does what he does. What I mean by this is that his priorities have changed. He's gone from wanting to torture the Joker and killing criminals and stuff to pretty much torturing Gotham. The situation became so dire, even Jim left, so it's clear he's not just hurting criminals, he's hurting everyone. And this would make sense if he's being possessed by Mammon. Okay, that was a lot to take in, but with that being said, let's try to explain it all. It all started off in an alleyway where Bruce's parents got shot, but instead of some random thug, it's none other than the Joker. Batman does his usual grieving process and training, but Alfred dies from a stroke not long after, which leaves Batman without any support system. This then leads to Bruce to want to not only get his family justice, but torture the man who ruined his life, destroy the Joker's life, make it worse than his. This then sets him off to do research in different formulas and ways of enhancing strength, even perhaps rituals for gods and demons. He makes all the final preparations and creates his new tonics, fear toxin and venom. Judging by the Bat's face, either the rituals or the drugs heavily distorted and deformed him, giving himself the appearance of a rotting corpse. This then leads to the Bat incident, where he puts his newfound power on display. He molds everyone there and uses their bodies to perform some ritual. He then uses his fear toxin on the Joker. After Bruce's little stunts, people start to copy him because they see him as a hero, but some are starting to catch on to Batman's identity. The Riddler exposes the Bat's identity, but this effectively killed the last of what was left of Bruce. He has even started to put civilians' lives at risk. He kidnaps people to perform experiments on them and fakes his death by blowing up Wayne Manor. These experiments lead him to create his own brainwashed Robins who are willing to die for him. This turns Gotham into a war zone and forces many police officers to just leave or die. However, in all of this chaos, there is one man who seems to want to end the Batman once and for all: Azrael. He's pushed to his limits when a Robin tries to attack him. He doesn't take this kindly and ends him swiftly. This then leads him to get the courage to stand up against the Batman. The story is left on a cliffhanger. Will good succeed, or will Batman continue to destroy Gotham, and possibly the world? That was a long episode. For my standards anyways. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and hey, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I will greatly appreciate it because these videos take a long time to make, and let me know what I should cover next. Anyways, see you